A little while ago I asked you which Pokemon I should focus in on for the next deck profile, and you all selected Eiscue, and then I disappeared off the face of the earth for about 3 weeks. But I am back, and now we're going to take a look at this Fusion Strike Pokemon, which is frankly one of the more underrated cards that is floating around at the moment. Block Slider is the attack that we're going to focus in on. For a water and a colorless energy, we can deal 40 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon for every Fusion Strike energy that we have in play. We can have up to 4, obviously we're only allowed to have 4 Fusion Strike energy cards in the deck, and if we have all 4 of them in play, we're actually dealing 160 damage to any of our opponent's Pokemon. Now if we combine that with a card like Telescopic Sight, we can potentially take knockouts on Crobat V, on Eldegoss V, on any of those support V Pokemon that might be sitting on your opponent's bench. Now the question is, how are we going to get this attack off? Well, I have paired up Eiscue with Mew VMAX. This card obviously very, very powerful, very unpopular at the moment, but I figured if we're playing a slightly weaker version of the deck, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. If you haven't seen this card before, it is incredible. It has 310 HP as a VMAX Pokemon, and it has the Cross Fusion Strike attack. For 2 colorless energy, it allows you to choose one of your benched Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. That is probably the way that we're going to try and get the Block Slider attack off. We'll get all of our Fusion Strike energies into play and then try and attack with a Mew VMAX. We also have the ability to utilize the Genesect V in this deck too. Draw cards equal to the, draw up 2 cards equal to the amount of Pokemon that are Fusion Strike in play on your side of the field. That was a very awkward way of explaining that, but it potentially gives us access to up to 6 cards, which is fantastic, and Techno Blast for a double metal single colorless energy attachment is very, very nice. 210 damage and then we can't attack next turn. That combined with cards like Power Tablet allow us to reach some pretty high numbers. Now we're going to try our very best to get all of those Fusion Strike energies into play with Elise's Sparkle, which allows us as a supporter card to accelerate up to 2 Fusion Strike energy. Oh boy, good grief. I'm struggling to make videos. We really should do this more often. Attach up to 2 Fusion Strike energy from your deck to to 2 different Fusion Strike Pokemon, really. It's as simple as that. Hopefully we can get a few of these attacks off with Eiscue. I would really like it if we could win some games with this. I don't want to simply sit here and attack with Techno Blast. I don't want to just use the Mew. I want to use the Eiscue, because that's what you want to see. So let's jump into some games. If you want to see the deck, by the way, it's down in the description. Like the video whilst you're there. I promise I won't disappear again. That is a promise that I 100% cannot keep, but I can guarantee that we have a decent start here. We've got a Quick Ball, we can grab ourselves a Genesect, chuck that onto the bench. We've got an Ultra Ball for next turn. We can use this Rotom Phone here as well, give us access to... Geez, I don't know, another Rotom Phone, that seems fine. We can just grab that. We can draw that now with our Genesect, which I do like. Hopefully we can find ourselves a VIP Battle Pass, which would be fantastic. Doesn't look like we've got it. We might just go for the Eiscue here. Get that into our hand off of a Genesect. I think that's perfectly fine. We can draw into that with Fusion Strike System and then put the Eiscue onto the bench. If we want, we don't actually need to do it. We can just hold it if we'd like. Potentially give us access to Ultra Ball next turn. We are playing up against Arceus. This could be anything. Hopefully it is not a dark variant of this deck. It's obviously very, very popular at the moment. It looks, though, like it is going to be a bit of a mixed bag. They've got Hooper, they've got Rapid Strike Urshifu. They've got a lot of cards in this Arceus build that could theoretically cause us some problems. Now, obviously, these cards are going to be shifting slightly in the next couple of days. We've got 4 or 5 days until the new set Astral Radiance drops, which is very exciting. I've got a whole bunch of codes ready to go, so I'm going to try and build some of those decks ASAP, and hopefully the new set gives us the ability to compete with some of these big decks. At the moment, Arceus and Mew are runaway the best decks in format, so hopefully we are able to provide a little bit of creativity in this set, although I'm not holding my breath per se. One card that I am very excited for is Roxanne. That seems like a pretty good option for lots of decks, especially decks that can search it out. If you're excited about any particular cards, then let me know down in the comments. That would be great. Tell me, what cards are you excited for in Astral Radiance? Which would you like to see in a deck profile first? I've been manied here, and it looks like they are just going to go for a Trinity Charge. So that's a little bit awkward. We'll see what we can do here. I would really love it, to be honest, if I could knock that Hooper out this turn. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to organize ourselves. That VIP Battle Pass getting in our way again. We're going to quick ball here, get rid of that VIP Battle Pass. Would have been great to have seen that last turn, but alas, 'twas not to be. We'll play down the Genesect, we can play down the Power Tablet, and then we can Rotom Phone and see what we get off of the top here. I like the Boss. Boss seems pretty good. Guarantee that we draw into that. We'll Fusion Strike System up for 3. There's a Boss and a Cramomatic. Okay, let's Boss the Hooper here, and then we'll Ultra Ball. I could potentially have flipped the coin, but I like the idea of going for the Mew. All we need to do here is draw 1 energy card, and we will be able to take the knockout on this Hooper. So it's a pretty good chance. We've got 4 cards here. One of those cards was a Fusion Strike energy, so that's good. We will be able to attack. And now what we might do is we might just retreat. No, let's not worry about it. We can just draw a card, right? It doesn't really matter. We'll draw 1 single card here. A Cramomatic's pretty good. We'll see if we can flip heads on this. Not a card that I'm particularly fond of, but hey, it's going to work for us here. We'll grab another Mew, and then we will cross Fusion Strike. Take the knockout with Technoblast because we used the Power Tablet. So that's a pretty good attack here. That means that we will be able to at least keep this game going for long enough to potentially use our Eiscue. We have 2 Fusion Strike energies in play, and that Crobat on the bench is very, very tempting. If we can potentially get a knockout on that, I will be very, very happy. Although, to be fair, we don't necessarily need to. We are just playing Mew at the moment, but I will get the Eiscue play off. We'll knock something out with Eiscue. It's going to be my goal. I am not going to include this in the video if I don't get something with Eiscue here. So we will see what happens. Looks like they're going to go for Raihan. Probably attaching to the Arceus. Either that or the Crobat. They could potentially go for like a Crobat VMAX play. Looks like they will go for the Arceus. Probably gust up the Mew V, if I had to guess. There is a Crobat VMAX there, so we did predict that that would happen. But now the equation gets a little bit more difficult here for us. I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do. They're gonna half hit us, so that's fine. What we might need to do now is we might need to make the most of our energy in play. If we can get a Eiscue attack off, I would be very, very happy. 4 prizes. That was going to be very awkward to deal with. What have we got? We don't have a huge amount left. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. Elisa Sparkle's pretty good. That will definitely give us access to all 4 of our Fusion Strike energies. So we'll get those in play. I will play the Escape Rope here and put the Mew probably in the active. Just put that there. I guess we could just double switch. We could just switch twice if we want to. Maybe just throw those cards down. Force myself to draw a few more cards because I'd love to see a little bit of an option here. Choice Belt Power Tablet Escape Rope. Not a huge amount floating around here, so I will Ultra Ball, get rid of the Escape Rope and the VIP Battle Pass. We'll grab the Eiscue, because this will allow us to at least attack with it this turn. We can Fusion Strike System as well. And we've found an energy, we've found Boss, we've found a whole bunch of stuff. Let's retreat. We'll go into the Mew. And we'll just attach this Choice Belt here. I think we just draw a card with the Fusion Strike. And then what I might do is I might go for an Eiscue attack here. I think it's only reasonable for us to do this whilst we have access to all 4 of the energy. We will cross Fusion Strike and we will block Slider into the Crobat VMAX. Deal 160. The good thing about this is the Bidoof in the active, they obviously wanted us to knock that out. So we potentially keep this in the active position if they don't find a switch. If they don't find a switch, we can actually take the knockout next turn. Alas, they do find one. But also, it forces them to kind of try and get that Crobat VMAX out of the active position, and it is a very strong attacker against Mew. So I think Eiscue might have given us a chance here to potentially go on to win this game. We've got 2 Fusion Strike energies in play, which means that a Bidoof is knockoutable. Not a barrel, but a Bidoof. And we can get the knockout on that Crobat, I think. So, feeling good. Feeling good. We'll see how we go. We will see. We will see. We are going to lose a few of our energy cards, which I'm not a fan of. But we are going to knock out the Crobat if everything goes to plan. So, I'm feeling good, as I mentioned. We're going to see ourselves knocked out by Trinity Nova. They will accelerate, but they cannot deal with the Mew on the bench. If I knock out the Crobat VMAX, then we're in a good spot. So Block Slider coming in massive clutch here, giving us the opportunity to potentially go on and win the game. We'll play down the Mew. We'll play the Power Tablet. We'll play down the Telescopic Sight. We may as well. We'll play down the Rose Tower. And let's just go for the Gust. We need to find an Energy, which we have in hand, and a Mew VMAX of some description. So, let's just attach the double turbo energy to the active. Then we will Rose Tower. Ultra Ball will do the job for us. So that's pretty good. We can grab ourselves the Mew VMAX here. Now we are guaranteed the knockout on the Crobat. And the Rose Tower now pretty much just needs to give us access to a few more cards to utilize next turn. Boss's Orders will do the job. Let's cross Fusion Strike. We will take the knockout with Techno Blast. We'll knock out the Crobat VMAX. And now we only need one more prize to win, which we can get with our Boss's Orders. The only issue is we will need to retreat. Maybe I should have done the maths a little bit better there and Max Miracled. I don't know if I would have been able to get the knockout. Potentially with a Power Tablet. I can't remember whether I played one. We've got the Choice Belt. Would have done 190 plus 160. I think we should have just done that anyway. But that's okay. Now we're forcing ourselves to find another card. It's gonna be fine. We can do it. I don't know what you're worried about. I don't know why you are worried. But the Eiscue, doing the job, got rid of that Crobat before it could become a problem for us. And that would have been our opponent's #1 strategy to beat the Mew. Would have been to use the Crobat. The Crobat is almost impossible for Mew VMAX to knock out in its general attacks. So I'm feeling like that's probably a pretty good sign for us. We did it. We did a good job. We did a good job, everyone. Also, thank you for coming back. I know that sometimes it is difficult to keep up with my schedule because there is not one. I will do my very best to try and put more videos out as the new set comes out, but I cannot guarantee anything. I am notorious at the moment for being away for long periods of time, but that's okay. Trinity Nova is not a knockout. So now, it comes down to, can we find a switch? If we have a switch card left, I think we have one more left in our deck, and we win the game. We will try our best to get it. There's a quick ball. That is good. We can double check to see whether or not we're going to be able to find one. There is not. There is not a switch mechanic. There is a double turbo energy and a Mew VMAX though, so that will also do the job for us. We won't take the Pokemon. We will throw down the Rose Tower. What we might do, we can play down the Mew. We're going to play down the Mew. We're going to play down a Power Tablet. I'm just going to flip the coin here, because if we just get heads, that's great. And we do. Okay, so we don't need to worry about it. We could have drawn cards. We had enough. We probably were guaranteed to get it. But yes, we are able to just use Boss's Orders here. We will retreat into our friend Mew VMAX, and then cross Fusion Strike. We can take a knockout with Techno Blast and win the game. And I don't think we would have been able to win that if it hadn't been for Block Slider and Eiscue. Let's do this again. The thing about Mew is that the games aren't necessarily super long, so we should be able to find another one here. A pretty good starting hand. We've got VIP Battle Pass, we've got a Quick Ball, and we've got Fusion Strike Energy, which I like. Now the issue here is that we are going second, and sometimes Mew without Meloetta can find it quite difficult to get knockouts when it goes second, but we do have all the things that we really need. I think we can go for Genesect and Eiscue here. If we Quick Ball away a Choice Belt, we can grab ourselves a Mew, which is just a nice little backup attacker to have. Best card in the game. Nice little backup attacker. Let's go for a quick couple of cards here. Quick Ball I like. We'll get rid of the double turbo. We'll grab ourselves another Pokemon, maybe another Mew or a Genesect. Like the Genesect, that seems pretty good. We need a switch card in order to get an attack off, but we also need Elise's Sparkle, so that might be a potential issue. We've got the switch card though, I like that. Escape Rope will get us into the Mew in the active at the very least, so we can put that up there. And then we probably need to find ourselves another item in Flip Heads or Elise's Sparkle, and we'll try our very best here. We've got the Power Tablet, so let's flip the coin. Okay, beautiful. So let's get this Elise's Sparkle going. Cramomatic is a fun and fair and balanced card that allows you to do some really interesting things. Now we've got an Eiscue on turn 2. And this is an interesting one here, because if we had a Meloetta, we'd be knocking out the Remoraid. Wouldn't be that big of a deal for us here. No, now, though, we can be quite sneaky. Realistically, we can go into our Eiscue here. We can block Slider. We can knock out that Sobble on the bench, which is probably a more useful card for our opponent. So that's the benefit of having the Eiscue. Obviously not quite as strong as Meloetta, but when your opponent has lots of single prize Pokemon, it can very easily pay off early. They've used Escape Rope here. We'll just put the Mew in the active. We've also got the Telescopic Sight in our hand, plus Ultra Ball. So if our opponent does play down something like a Crobat or a potential not a Whimsicott, what am I talking about? What's the one? The fish? Finneon? Luminion? Whatever it is. If they play down one of those, and then we are really looking good. Looks like our opponent is playing Inteleon VMAX, which is quite an awkward matchup for us. We can never really get a big one-shot on Inteleon. They are going to use Cheryl pretty frequently, but we can probably just keep sniping here. We've got a Fusion Strike Energy in our hand. We've got the Telescopic Sight, which I like. Our opponent's just gone for a switch for the Remoraid, so they're obviously not doing too much here themselves. Now we are looking really, really good, to be honest. Let's throw down the Fusion Strike Energy. We will Ultra Ball away 2 of our cards. I'm thinking we probably get rid of the Eiscue and the Mew, and we'll grab ourselves a Mew VMAX. This I like, this I like. We can put this into the active, and then I think we just start drawing some cards. This is the joy of Mew, to draw lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of cards. And now we're going to force our opponent to have to draw into a retreat card. We can cross Fusion Strike for the block Slider if we want. We can even do it to the Inteleon on the bench, force them to use their Cheryl early. Let's go for the block Slider. We will hit into the Inteleon, 160 damage. And now, if they want to do anything, they need to Cheryl this turn. They won't be able to take a knockout, obviously. Now, we're going to find it really tough for us to get a single shot knockout on the Inteleon, but I think we are in a good enough position that we're going to slow down our opponent at such a rate that they won't be able to do what they want to do. So I like that quite a lot. Here comes their Octillery. So they're probably going to search for a Stadium, which will allow them to retreat. They're also going to Marnie. Not that big a deal for us. Losing the Power Tablet is a little bit tedious, but it's not the end of the world. And we will see what we come up with. Chromatic, double Chromatic plus Power Tablet. I can get behind that. There's a path to the peak, which is not particularly good for us. We lose our ability to use abilities from Pokemon V. So Genesect, all 4 of the Genesect on our bench are achieving nothing. We do have another Stadium in our deck though, Chromatic. If we flip heads, we'll find that. But also at the moment, we're just happy to snipe away with Block Slider. It's not that big of an issue for us. They're going to search out Tower of Waters. They've already played down Path to the Peak though, so they've just conceded. They cannot get out of the active. We would snipe them and take the knockout. It's a pretty good card. Tell you what, our opponent conceded there. We'll give you another full game with Eiscue. We'll see what we can do. This time, everything's just come up absolutely brilliant here. We've got double VIP pass, so we'll just start with that. That seems fine. That seems perfectly fair and reasonable and balanced. Let's grab a Mew and a Genesect. This is the perfect start for us. We can attach a Fusion Strike Energy. We can Fusion Strike System for 3 cards on turn 1. Excuse me, there's a Mew. There's an Energy as well for next turn. We've got pretty much everything we need. I'm going to Escape Rope. We'll go into our Mew that doesn't have Energy. Draw a single card just to get the Eiscue out of the active. And then we will probably leave it at that. There's not a huge amount more that we need to do. Next turn, we can block Slider and knock out one of these Sobbles if we want to. We can potentially put some pressure on an opponent's Pokemon. Maybe they have like a V that they want to play down. We have Boss's Orders, Energy, Mew VMAX, Power Tablet. We have all the pieces that we need. So that's pretty good. There's a whole bunch of different things that we can do next turn. Ice Rider Calyrex is going to be the play. Okay, so this deck we should be able to beat. We should be able to beat it. I don't like the fact that they've gone with Path to the Peak here. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal. They're going to boss the Genesect into the active. And here, we're just going to be nice and conservative. We're going to go for the Mew. We're going to Escape Probe. We're going to put that Mew VMAX into the active. Our opponent's going to put the Sobble into the active. Obviously, we're just waiting for them to do that. Come on, let's go, let's go. We put the Mew VMAX into the active. We're going to use Boss's Orders. We're going to bring up the Ice Rider. And this gives us plenty of time, ultimately, to go about our business. We're going to cross Fusion Strike. We're going to Techno Blast. Take the knockout on the Ice Rider. And now we have a couple of turns before we really need to get going here. Double Cramomatic gives us a 75% chance to get out of the Path Lock next turn. But even if we don't, we do have options. We can theoretically get ourselves out of this. It looks like our opponent is going to go for a Drizzle. They don't have access to an attacker this turn. They're playing Ice Rider. They won't have any other really powerful attackers in the early game. So I'm feeling pretty strong. Going to give us a little bit of extra time to get out of it. They're going for the old Drizzle Waterfall, which people are going to need to get used to not doing when Roxanne comes out. Need to conserve those resources. Oh, we're going to get Marnied. So we're getting Marnied out of a dead hand. Our opponent didn't really see us do too much with it. We're going to lose 2 of our Cramomatics. Potentially we can draw into a stadium. We'll see what we can do. Obviously, I have no control over whether we draw into a stadium. And as you can see, we did not. But we've actually got that's not bad here. This is not bad. If we find an energy off of the top deck here, we can actually get a knockout. We can't attack with the Mew, obviously. But it's looking pretty good. In fact, that Sobble on the bench is... okay. We still need to have the energy. If we get the energy, which we've done, double Fusion Strike energy, we can now attach the double Turbo Evolve into the Mew VMAX. And then we can target down that Sobble on the bench. I think that's actually a really, really good play. Let's go with the Rotom Phone. We'll put the Rose Tower on the top of the deck. Means that next turn we will be able to do something. Attach that energy before I forget. And then we can retreat into Mew. We can use Cross Fusion Strike and Block Slider. We'll take the knockout on the Sobble. We have 3 in play. That's 120 damage. I'm going to knock out that Sobble. And I'm going to assume that our opponent was planning on using Drizzle to get out of their hand this turn. And if that's the case, then we are not only in a winning position, right? Okay, they got to research. I said not only will we be in a winning position, but they would also be completely locked. Unfortunately for us, they did have the research, so they are going to be able to get out of that here. But you know, I'm feeling pretty good. Quick shooting, targeting one of the Pokemon that has a Fusion Strike energy on it. They're just going to pierce. I think we've won this game. I think Mew is going to come up trumps here and win this game. We've got a Choice Belt. We can retreat. We need to do nothing else. Realistically, we can do more things. We're going to do more things. We don't need to do more things. That's the perfect 2 cards to draw. Cramomatic and a card to discard off of Cramomatic. And let's just keep drawing. We're just going to keep drawing cards until eventually we stop. We're going to Quick Ball here, get rid of an Alesis Sparkle. We don't need that in our hand. We can just continue to draw cards. We don't need to do anything else. Quick Ball and Fusion Strike energy, that's pretty good. We'll put that on, I guess, like the Eiscue. It doesn't really matter here. We've got 3 powered attackers now. We Quick Ball away the Alesis Sparkle, now no longer useful. Thin that out, Fusion Strike system, and draw some more cards. We're looking for another stadium if we can. Training Court is perfect. We can cross Fusion Strike here. Techno Blast, take the knockout. Put ourselves 1 prize away from winning the game. And no matter what our opponent does, we have game next turn, provided that they don't knock out the Eiscue. If they do knock out Eiscue, we've got the boss. so we can always do that. Now that they've Melanine as well, we are guaranteed to be able to win. They cannot Marnie the hand that we have. They won't boss the Eiscue, so we are 100% guaranteed to win. They spot that. We take the victory screen. And turns out Eiscue is pretty good. So in the end, I ended up going on an 11-game winning streak with Eiscue, which, I mean, it was Mew. I won 11 games with Mew. I'm not going to sit here and brag and say that it was amazing, but still, it gives Mew a different dimension. It gives it something to do, which I think is a lot of fun. We've still got a couple of days before our Astral Radiance set comes out, so I'm going to try and do one more video on this particular format. I'm going to challenge myself to do that. Hopefully I can put one out. I don't know, we'll see how we go. Hey, thanks to these people over here for supporting the channel, and if you are looking for some more fun Pokemon content, then why don't you just bloody click on this video here. Now see a nice little deck. I don't know what it is yet, I haven't decided. Looks pretty good though.